Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to our Dr. Hoenle Roundtable today. Before we begin, one important question. In case there is anybody participating in this call who is not able to speak German, please let us know through the chat box on the lower right-hand screen, on the lower right-hand part of your screen. This way, we know that we have to proceed and switch to German. As many of you know, Dr. Hoenle just announced a change in management very recently. Hence, I'm very excited to have with me Dr. Franz Richter, who's currently the supervisory board and who will take over the helm of Dr. Hoenle as CEO come October 1st. And of course, with me, Mr. Robert Stark, who is the CFO of Dr. Hoenle. After a brief statement by both, we will dive into the Q&A session, and after you can ask questions using the chat box once again. And also, we have just seen that there is a participant who does not speak German, so we will continue in English. And without a further ado, I will now hand it over to the management board. It's all yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, and welcome everybody to a conference call following our ad hoc announcement from yesterday. Basically, the board of directors has decided to release Markus Arndt from his position, and the main reason is there's the board is under the impression and has a view that the defining and the introduction of strategic goals just took too long. We are for too long time, more or less moving sideways, and there's not enough clarity about what is the goal, what is the strategy, where is Hönle standing for, what are our USPs, internal and external, was not at a level where we as a board were satisfied with, and also not expecting that there would be any change going forward. That was the reason that we basically released Markus from his job, and I took over, or will take over that from October 1st, and do this, let's say, right now it's kind of for a year. The reason is that for up to 1 year, we can do the delegation from the board of directors to the management, but in this case, my intention is really to stay as long as, like Margot Draghi said, whatever it takes, stay until the job is done, and then we will take the time and see whether we can find the replacement later on, probably from an internal position, and not go immediately into the search. As our experience, not only here at Hönle, also with other companies I have experience with, it's always difficult to find a solution from the outside, and so therefore we will take our time here and first make sure that we define a strategy, publish a strategy, define goals, and get especially also internally more excitement, more focus among the employees, so that we can drive it forward. The question is always then, is there a change in, let's say, in guidance? Is there a change in the overall published strategic goals or the technology? I don't see that. So our organization with the 3 business units, which has been implemented about 2 years ago, it's still, my view is still was the right decision. We also have no changes right now on the strategic goals. Also next year budget, we are preparing, or already in the final, our calendar year, our business year ends end of this month. So the next year's budget is basically also in the makings, in the doing, and that will be no change to that. So with that, I don't know whether there's anything else
I think that the most important things you mentioned, there's no change of the guidance we published for year end, so it is still as published, 92 to 94 million in sales and an EBITDA of 5 to 6 million. So also the settlement with Marcus Arendt does not change anything of the guidance. And for sure, we already took actions to raise our profitability, some cost-cutting measures. So that is still on the right track. And now we, like Franz said, we need to sharpen our strategy, to focus on the execution, and to bring up our top line and sales for the next upcoming years.
So with that, I would like to hand back and be available for answers on any potential questions there might be.
Thank you so much for the insights. We are now switching to the question and answer session. If you have any questions for Mr. Stahl or Dr. Richter, please feel free to enter them into the chat box. Somebody who is answering the question as we speak.
Okay, I just see here if we can expect some change or now it's gone. Some updates, yeah, sure, we will stay in contact. I mean, as you know, we will have reports also when we finish the year, and definitely will give updates on the plans we are doing. And there's another question: if everything stays the same, why did we have to let go the CEO? I didn't say it all stays as it is. I said the basic direction. So we will focus on the business unit. That will not change. And the execution, the target setting, the focus on improvements, that will change and has to change, because right now, as I said, for the last year and a half, probably already 2 years, also when the year when I was, that was just the definition phase. We have really more or less moved sideways. There is no growth. We can see, although the market would have the potential for growth. I mean, there's no reason why we should not see a significant growth in all 3 business units. And right now we see this only in one, in the disinfection. This is probably in the best shape right now. But there is much more potential in the market, and we don't get it right now.
Okay, this pretty much already answers the next question, which reads, given the leadership change is due to differing views and strategy, can you clearly outline what will change in Hönle's strategic priorities under Dr. Richter's leadership? I think you've addressed most of that, unless you want to add to that.
No, I think just that and it says in the talk the direction and also the focus. I think the what was the addition? So where is the target setting and the how strong we are following that? I mean, the execution of that is more the reason for the change, that we are not really have a clear picture of what does it mean for us, where are we, which direction are we going, what are we going to achieve, what are the targets, and really also fulfill these targets.
Thank you. Talking about guidance, you reiterated this year's guidance, fiscal year ending in end of September. You recently cut that. Can you elaborate on recent trends in the order pipeline and visibility going forward? And do you expect to return to top line growth in 2026? And as a follow-up to that, you have a guidance for 2030, which you set out in January. Is that still up and running, or is there a question mark behind it now?
Okay. Some words to the short term. So basically, for the next fiscal year, we are currently in the budget process. For sure, we see currently our order income and the order books, which gives us some highlights and news for the upcoming month. We can see that we gain traction in the US with some good projects, as well as kind of a turnaround in the adhesive systems business. So therefore, there are some good signs for the upcoming year, and we are very confident to have a top line growth in 2026.
Especially to the target of 2030, definitely no change on that. I mean, the point is that's what I said, and if you compare, I mean, some of you may recall, but we had a very similar situation in 2017-18 at Swiss Microtech, where we had that longer term plan vision and the vision doubling the revenue, 15% EBIT. And of course, it takes some time. It's not that you can do it overnight, but also that was with a strategic approach, which means you mainly talk to your customers, you have engineers at the customer, you better understand what customers need. And very often customers cannot really define themselves because they don't know what our opportunities, what we can do, what we can develop and deliver. And if we better understand from engineering the issues what our customers have, we can find solution, we can define solution. That takes some time, but it's the only way from my, fortunately, long time experience, meanwhile, in the business. We have to be very, very close to customer from the engineering level to understand the issues, find a solution. Takes some time, but it will work, and also worked at SÜSS very well. I mean, that's exactly the products we defined in those years, which are carrying the market today and which are bringing that revenue of 400+ million. 2030 goals, definitely no change.
Thank you. And now, obviously, Dr. Richter, you know the company quite well. You've been on the supervisory board for a longer period of time. You've been in the management or on the management board for a while as a temporary management board member. You're now returning. The question that is being asked, which is indeed very direct, is why do you think you can do a better job than your predecessor?
I mean, it's just applying experience we have made, or I have made over the years, as I said, but there was a time when I can also just, when I started just 5 people company. We got our process into Samsung production for the HBM2 memory, 8 gigabit memory at that time. And the main root cause for that was in 2012, every other week, the first half year, I was in Korea in the lab, talking with the customer, working with the customers, week after week after week. And the only way, what I think we can do as a technology company in Europe, really understand the issues of the customer and probably understand the issues even better than the customer itself, because we have our know-how, we know our capability, and working with them, that is the only goal. For the last year, I was not seeing that really, and that whole concept was not implemented at Hönle, and that is why we believe if we really want to be on the growth path, if you want to change something significantly, you only can do this with a very close engineering collaboration, work together with the customer. And that is what we will definitely very strongly increase here from now on.
Okay, thank you. Can you elaborate a little bit more on your tenure as CEO of the company, i.e., you're probably going to look for a more permanent solution. Do you have a time frame for that? And on the other hand, as you are now filling in as a supervisory board member, taking over the management, what is and that is another very direct question, what is the amount of work that you can put into that? I.e., are you working full-time? Are you working part-time? What's the time that you can allocate to that new position that you're holding?
I don't know exactly what part-time means. Of course, it's a full-time job, and that is something I think I've never done anything only halfway. So if I go in, I go in. And no, definitely it's a full-time job. And as I said, I would not even limit it to this 1 year. I mean, if people look at my age, yeah, I'm not the youngest, but other people which are with a few months different taking on a 4-year job at the Bundeskanzler. It's not an age where I would say that is not possible. I think here there is a task to be done. There is a direction to be set, and the main thing is what I explained before, changing a little bit the approach, how to approach the market, and then create an environment here in the company to excite people, to excite employees, to have much more fun and go for a goal and set a common goal for the team. This motivation, I think, is very important. A step you have to do, you have to increase. And I think I have done that in the past, and I'm very confident that we can create something here.
Of course, there are already very specific questions which, as you know the company, but you're still new to the role again. Do you already have specific measures in mind that you would like to initiate to be faster in the strategic implementation compared to the previous approach that Dr. Hoenle had?
Again, it's not so new. We have just the execution is not really done in a way that I would say we can be satisfied. And as I said, that is, you can call it product management, whatever you call it, but engineering people working with the technology side of customers. I mean, of course, we need a sales force. We need a strong sales force, but a salesperson has a different mindset than a researcher, than a product manager. A product manager is looking for issues, for open spots at the customer's solutions. Where can we fill in? Where can we improve something? The salesperson their mindset is to sell something, to sell what we have, and what we have is great and good. And the product manager would always look for a better solution to our products, and that is what we need to find to really differentiate ourselves from competition. And there's always competition, no doubt. But to be strong here, to be smarter here, gives us a kind of USP and unique sales proposition. And only with a USP you can really survive in let's say in a region where we cannot just focus on to be the most competitive costs on the cost side. I mean, we will always be at the higher price given the infrastructure here. We cannot be the cheap supplier, so therefore we need the technology.
You already talked about the different business units and that currently only one of those is really growing, whereas the other two are not causing problems but are less dynamic. Where do you see the greatest potential for future growth? In those two or in one of those two in particular? And are there any current new developments that could significantly contribute to future revenue growth?
No, I do see, and that is, again, this is not so long ago that we defined that setup as a three business. I definitely do see a huge potential in all three of those. I mean, the adhesive market, there is a severe advantage if you have an UV curing adhesive, so there is no from an environmental point of view, so no solvent-based adhesive. I mean, you have to find the right application, and you have to find the right way to develop the whole system to have it the advantage at the market. Same with the curing of adhesive, and also the curing of ink. from a chemical point of view, from a physical point of view, is not so much different. These are different applications. But today or tomorrow the Label Expo in Barcelona starts. So there's a lot of printing application in labeling, in etiquettes. So there's definitely growth for us, growth potential for us, and that is what we have to focus on. And the research, the disinfection, the same. I mean, in principle, all is very environmental friendly. No solvent. We have no chemical for disinfection. I mean, that is very clean technology. So if we cannot bring that to the market, then there's something wrong on our side.
Thank you. I have one more question regarding the margin development. Now, you have the 2030 guidance, which already implies a certain margin track. Can you say something more in the short run over the next couple of years, how margin will develop, what your plans are?
I mean, it's hard to say, and it's probably a little bit too early, but Robert also already mentioned, so there's always two elements if you talk about margin. One is the cost side. I mean, we have made progress in the recent months, quarters, and years on the cost side, so that will continue. We do have a focus on cost cutting and reduction of cost, and the other side is price. And historically, if we are not the highest bidder in the competition and pricing, something is wrong, because you cannot price-wise compete against, let's say, a Chinese or other competitors from low-cost areas. So we have to have technology. We have to have an advantage to support our higher costs and our prices. And therefore, that, as I said before, here we can do better.
All right, thank you. I'm just looking at the questions, and I see that thus far we have answered each and every one that came in. So I want to give everybody the opportunity. If you have a follow-up question or a new question, please feel free to enter them into the chat box, because we still have Dr. Richter and Mr. Stark available. So use your opportunity. It looks as if everybody is happy with the answers you have thus far provided. I would like to give it another half a minute to give everybody the opportunity to potentially enter a new question. I don't see that anybody is typing though at the present time. So with that, would almost come to a close, but like always, the last words are with you. So Dr. Richter, Mr. Stark, if you have additional comments, please feel free.
Yeah, thank you very much for that discussion, for the question. Of course, that is the first conference call. It's even technically before I start, but we definitely will stay in close contact and update you on the progress what we are making. So now it's time to go to work and do the talk. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Richter, Mr. Stark. Thank you, everybody, for participating in Dr. Hoenle's roundtable, and thank you for your questions. Everybody have a pleasant afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.